What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Legion of Raw with the former head writer of the emblem himself, Vince Russo. How are you, my man?
What is going on, Dr. Chris?
All right, we got some things to talk about today. We got a bunch of people coming on live. It's clear that people are interested in what we have to say about this Corpus Christi night of Uncle Howdy and friends.
Bro, who are they gonna have write that? I'm sorry, bro, but listen, this was the first time I knew they were going somewhere because the match ended way too soon.
Right, exactly. 10:52.
Yep. And Chris, by the way, I was right about CM Punk going over to Glasgow and screwing Drew McIntyre, which I said on this show several weeks ago.
Yeah, you were. I knew that you were going to be right. It was just the logic wasn't.
Let's talk about that. There's more things. We're not going to talk about the Money in the Bank qualifying match. We're not going to talk about it. There's much more important things to talk about.
All right, let's do it, man.
You want to start with Uncle Howdy? This had me captivated, paying full attention to my television screen the last 5 minutes. People are dead. I don't know if they're all dead. I don't know, but I'm watching this and I'm saying, okay, bro, in 3 weeks, are we going to get the Rabbit and the guy with the mask in a tag team match against New Day?
Yes.
Who's going to seriously, bro, who is going to write this? I'm telling you right now, if the wrestling people write this, bro, this is dead in the water in under a month. If literally outside television, horror writers, movie makers write this, I am all for it, bro. Triple H writes this, bro, you're going to have a Chad Gable is going to get his revenge against the guy in the freaking bunny suit 3 weeks on Raw. Chris, who is going to possibly write this thing?
Former wrestlers, Vince Russo.
Please. I hope not. I hope not, bro. I really hope not. I hope they have a crew of separate writers that have nothing to do with wrestling writers.
Yeah. You know, Vince, I'm just not a prisoner of the moment, man. I looked at it. I'll give you interest. I saw it was 10:52 and the writing was on the wall as far as they were going to do something about it. So I was like, okay, I'm interested. Let's see what happens. And I saw everything. I saw Nikki Cross come out and I said, okay, well, that's typical, but they were here. They just look like a bunch of misfits. I mean, again, I'm just not a prisoner of the moment, man. It didn't wow me as much as I'm sure it's wowing.
Well, because Chris, here's why. Okay, bro, you and I have been watching this show for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. And you and I, bro, know the highlights or the big moments or the big spots are few and far between. And we also know, bro, when we get one, literally within 2 weeks, we are right back. And that's how we are trained. Now, Chris, I'm telling you, man, as a writer that had a wild imagination and always thought outside the box, I don't even know where you go with something like that. You mean to tell me these characters are going to be wrestlers in a wrestling ring?
Exactly. That's where I'm at, Vince. It's like, where the heck do we go with something like this? Do we get Nikki Cross being or whatever she's going to be? Hey, by the way, Money in the Bank qualifying match next week. It's like what are we going to do with that?
I'm with you, Chris. I mean, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, bro, they plan this thing out. This is wonderful. This is beautiful. This is effective. This is great. Where are they going to go with this, bro?
Yeah. Does this lead to a main event push? Does this lead to a major main event? I mean, a world title, some type of title.
A word title for the Birdman? The Birdman is going to wrestle for the title, bro.
Uncle Howdy, man. I guess he's the hench person.
How is Uncle Howdy ever going to wrestle in that mask?
I think he did. Well, he did a couple spots. He did the big spot during Bray and LA Knight. He put Bray in the Sister Abigail, so he did a couple of spots.
Spots.
Yeah, as far as matches, he hasn't done a match at all in that. So we'll see, man. I mean, to me, the first time a match occurs,
yeah.
Chris,
here's what's really sad about this. This may turn. Listen, I appreciate what they are trying to do. I appreciate them trying to keep the spirit of Bray Wyatt alive. I appreciate that. Bro, if this falls flat in the matter of weeks, this could possibly be like the biggest miss in the history of the W. I'm talking gobbledygooker miss. Because I don't know where you go. Okay, bro. So for a couple of weeks, they're going to attack people in the back,
right?
And it's going to be dark and all that stuff. Okay, bro. We're going to do that for a couple of. Okay, then what? So and so is going to call Birdman out for a match, and we're going to have. Where do you possibly go with this, bro?
Chad Gable's going to get upset. He's going to be like, all right, Alpha Academy, I'm sorry for being so mean. Oh, this to the Heroes was out. I need some help now. I want y'all to bandwidth me to go against these misfits all here, man. It's essentially, we're going to have a 6-man tag at SummerSlam.
I mean, Chris, we've seen this weekend, and listen, bro, Chris and I are going to be all over the place, bro. Everything with Raw now has turned into a qualifying match for something, and I'm so sick and tired of qualifying matches. I don't have 80% of these matches nobody gives a crap about. Mm-hmm. Two things happened this weekend, Chris, and I know you will 1,000% be on the same page with me. The first thing I saw was, and bro, if they can't even get this stuff right, how are they going to get Uncle Howdy right? The first thing I saw, bro, was the big, bad, everybody fears, top of the third, Bloodline on Friday night. Okay? Then I saw one guy come out and lay out the entire Bloodline.
Yep.
And I'm supposed to be afraid of this faction?
Yeah. Yep.
Randy Orton came out, one guy, and laid out every single member of the Bloodline. Bro, the idea is for the Bloodline to get continuous heat. Yep. It's like NWO, bro. Somebody didn't come out week 4 and lay out Hogan, Nash, and Hall, bro. They got heat and got heat and got heat and got heat. Then, Chris, I didn't watch the Castle thing because nobody paid me. Sportskeeda didn't pay me to watch that. But I saw the headlights. So now the baby face continues to screw the heel, and we want to eventually see the heel get his comeuppance?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, Chris, please explain this to me, bro. And then tonight they totally botched something which can almost put the stamp on we're never going to get Uncle Howdy over. Drew quits. They can't even get this right. Drew quits. He goes in the back. Oh, Trips is there. This must be a shoot. So Trips is there, but Pierce says, let me talk to him. Like, bro, really, Adam Pierce, really, Trips? If he quit as a shoot, Trips, you're going to let the make-believe GM talk to him? Chris, if they can't get that right, how are they going to get Uncle Howdy right?
Man, I just that's the why I say I'm just not a prisoner of the moment, man, because I just, it's one of those things, man. We've seen what, and I said this, man. I said this when we were talking about this, weeks ago in another one of our shows. I'm just like, look, if they couldn't get it right when Bray was alive, I mean, what's going to make it, all of a sudden right when he's not alive? You know what I mean? So, and Bray is the person behind. He's the one who has the creativity when, the Uncle Howdy thing was still here, and it went flat very quick. LA Knight actually got more over than Bray as a result of how they booked him.
Guys, you got to understand again, bro, how you always write wrestling. How you write successful wrestling is if you're sitting down and you're writing a show, and you have to ask yourself this question: if this were real. So let's start right there, guys. Let's start right there. If what we just saw happen was real, that's what the entire show is revolved around next week. Yeah. The entire show, bro, from the time the show starts, what the hell happened when we went on? Like, that is not qualifying Money in the Bank match. There are people dead backstage, bro. Right. There's blood smeared on the walls. Yeah. So when you come back next week, it's not qualifying Money in the Bank matches. The entire show should revolve around this. Chris, you and I know right now that ain't happening. You know what they're going to do, Chris? Here's what they're going to do. I'm going to tell you right now. What you just saw at the end of the show, we're going to see that at the end of the show for the next 4 weeks. That's what at the very end of the show, bro, they're going to do something for at least 4 weeks. Yeah. Meanwhile, there are people dead in the back. Chad Gable took a bullet to the head, and they're going to come out next week, and we got a qualifying match for Money in the Bank because they don't know how to write television, bro. I've been saying this all along. They don't know how to do it, bro.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, I think it would just make more sense if they just hijacked Raw. You know what I mean? Like that's what they should do next week. They should completely hijack Raw, and then it will cause people to realize why you're doing this. What's the cause? What's the reason? That should be the breadcrumbs leading us into a bigger picture. But at the same time, it's like, how can you do that cliffhanger, because essentially that's what it was, and then you go to the next week and then you have business as usual.
Exactly.
I mean,
you know it will be that. It will be, and I'm telling you guys, at the end of the show, Chris, it's going to be 8:55. The match is going to be, they're going to, bro, and let me tell you why they're going to do this for the next 4 weeks. I'll tell you exactly why. Because, bro, they're going to buy time because they have no idea how to translate this into wrestling television. They have no idea bro. It was like, Chris, we can go all the way back to the Wyatt family. The very first time they wrestled, bro, these guys were from the backwoods of Deliverance, and when they got in a ring, they knew all these wrestling moves. Yeah. Right. It was dead before it even started, bro. Who trained them to wrestle, bro? They came from the backwoods wearing lamb masks and cow masks, but they knew wrestling moves, bro. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Like I said, unless this is totally out of the hands of the wrestling people, it just doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah. I'm open to see what happens, man. But I'm not wooed by it, and just seeing how WWE's been booking for years now. I just don't see, like you said. I mean, I think you worded it very well. I don't see how it's going to translate into content creation, weekly episodic programming that we've seen from WWE for quite some time now. So I don't see it.
You're talking a dramatic change, bro. It's like literally what you'd have to do is obviously, like I said, bro, go back to the back hills where the Wyatt family lived. What you really have to do, bro, I'm telling you this right now. What you really have to do is you got to find out where this clan is coming from. And the only way to do this right, bro, is to go to them in their element. Once they show up in a wrestling ring, bro, we got Nikki Cross as the superhero. Once these characters show up in a wrestling ring, this is done. This has to be shot completely off campus, completely different from the rest of the show. And come on, bro, you think they're really going to commit to that? I mean, Chris, what did they commit to? Raw Underground for 3 weeks?
Right.
Right?
I think that a really cool motive for this, because you gotta have a motive. There has to be a motive for why they're doing this. And I've said this before when we talked on our other show. WWE always has B-roll footage. Even in the Bray Wyatt documentaries, there were interview stuff. There's all types. There's always B-roll footage. It seems like a cool motive of this would be to right the wrong of Bray Wyatt being misutilized for so long.
Bray's revenge. Bray's revenge. I mean, but that should be the basis of it. I agree with 1,000%, bro.
And so anyone who's there, or they should start showing times where he was about to win a title, or if he lost a title, or just all the times that he was underutilized or misutilized and stuff like that. That would be really, really cool to start showing those types of footages. And that's the weekly type of stuff, instead of just throwing somebody in the match, which I hope they don't do for a while. So.
But Chris, like you said, bro, I really think you hit the nail on the head. Bro, if they couldn't get this over with Bray, how are they going to get it over without him? Like, seriously, man. Like, that to me is like, bro, that freaking guy was a genius, and you were nowhere near his level.
Yeah.
He's not here anymore, bro. Like, how are you?
And we better not get, talk about a write-off. They should have done that to Ricochet. You know what I mean? Because how in the world,
point, Chris?
And how in the world would you want to see Chad Gable again? Like that diminishes their, push, their debut. If you see Chad Gable bulletless the next week,
bro, that is a great point, Chris. Because bro, we saw what Braun Breaker did to Ricochet last week, and Ricochet's gone. And Braun Breaker went 20 minutes with Sheamus. So what did that do for Braun Breaker?
Exactly.
Zero.
Yeah,
Zero. That's a great point, Chris. That's where it should have started, bro.
Indeed. Yep. We got a lot of super chats here. We got Carl, $2. CM Punk did a cool job on Saturday evening WWE PLE.
Chris, do you want to comment on that? Did you watch it in real time, and how did you feel when that was the finish?
I did. I knew it was going to happen. As soon as they did the ref bump, I said, "Oh, it's over." And then I think they did a good camera work. I think the production team was good as far as the person sliding in for the two, but it still didn't make any sense to me. I mean, you're trying to make CM Punk the baby face. He got a bunch of boos. He low blowed Drew, and to me, it just didn't make sense, man. I get it. I get why they did it, but doing it with a Scotland crowd that's excited about Drew winning just was counterproductive.
But hold on for a second, Chris. When you say I get why they did it, then you need to explain it to me, because the wrestling I know, it's flipped. The baby face is always getting screwed by the heel, and every time the heel screws the baby face, they get heat and more heat and more heat, and you build that heat until the baby face finally gets his. This is completely reversed here, so please tell me what you get that I'm not getting.
The only reason why I said I get why they did is to prolong the storyline. I mean, I don't agree with it. I think it's, again, like I said, I think it's illogical. It doesn't make logical sense to me why this would happen. I think that, again, I think that CM Punk not costing Drew the title would be the better bet, because now he has an opportunity to go for the championship. I've been saying that for weeks. It just doesn't make sense to me why he would do that in his hometown and somehow not get heat that way. It just didn't make sense to me. I do think that, I've heard that Drew's wife, was in the emergency room. So, it could be the reason why they didn't flip the title over him is because he wanted to, and the I quit angle too, just to go home for a while to
What's
take
wrong?
care of his
What's wrong with his wife?
She had to be in emergency. She had like emergency surgery, or she. That's the reason why he didn't. She wasn't in Scotland for. She wasn't in Glasgow.
Is she okay?
I think she's back home now, if I'm not mistaken. But
I didn't know that
she
part of the
wasn't
story, but that still doesn't. That has nothing to do with it.
I think that's the reason why we've seen the I Quit storyline to write him off a little bit.
Yeah, well, that I understand, but the finish makes no sense. I'd rather him have won the title and say I've got to go home for a family emergency than
exactly. Yes,
because what they did makes zero sense, guys. Zero sense.
And that's why, and I think that would have been a much better bet. And even if on Monday, if CM Punk would have came and somehow screwed him over or something like that, but I think he should have had that moment for sure, because he's just going to come. He's going to come back in a few weeks, just saying I quit just to come back, and
for all we know, though, bro, for all we know, Chris, both CM Punk and Drew McIntyre could have been murdered in the back.
Yes.
There's gonna have to be a tournament. Who's the new champion? And the chicken face is in it, and Nikki Cross is in, and they're all gonna be in it to see who's the new.
So I think the people, if I'm not mistaken, is Eric Rowan was the tall guy, Dexter Loomis, and
the guy with the gimmick.
I think that was Joe Gacy.
I don't know who that is. Who's Joe Gacy?
He's from NXT. So
okay.
Yeah. So again, man, we'll see. I'm open to it.
Hey guys, I gotta be honest with you. If this, like Chris said, bro, you couldn't do this with Bray. How you gonna do it? If this worked, I think it would be great. I'm telling you guys this right now. Hey, Raju, here's your story for the week. Vince Russo as the head writer of Raw, SmackDown, Impact, Nitro, Thunder, every show you can name. I'm telling you right now, Chris, I would have no idea of how to do this story in the context of a wrestling show. Yeah. I'm telling you that right now. The only way I would even attempt it is if everything pertaining from this about this story took place in another location. Yeah. Not anywhere near a wrestling ring. Because once you cross those two worlds, bro, guess what you got, Chris? Mm-hmm. You got bad wrestling.
Yeah. The only thing I could think about as far as storyline is concerned, you had, remember the dim red match that they had in the Hell in a Cell between Seth and Bray, and people criticized that quite a bit. That was one of the things that, the fans started to turn on Seth at that time. I think that, if you're talking about Bray's revenge, if Seth would be a good person to have a feud with, as far as that's concerned, and continuing to show those cryptic moments of
bro, that'll be awesome. Have the Birdman in the ring with Seth, and the people are singing for 15 minutes. That would be absolutely tremendous. Chris, do you even remember, bro? Do you remember, Chris? And it was cool stuff. Remember they did for a while there, bro. I don't know if they did it on TV or the pay-per-views when Bray was wrestling, and then like in the ring there were like amoeba cells. And remember when they did all that cool stuff, bro? The fans crapped on it. Yeah, they crapped on that stuff, bro. Remember?
Yeah, it was against Orton at WrestleMania, and it was very, very gimmicky as far as what the fans were saying. I was actually there, so I didn't see all the bells and whistles of it. It was the television production showed that, because we didn't see that live, and so, but I saw that the fans just crapped on it. They hated
on it, bro.
Yeah, so
this is so, Chris. Let's get into psychology here. Here's the problem with the WWE. This is the problem they're faced with now, Chris. For at least the last 10 years, they've been catering to the smart marks. They've been catering to the hardcore wrestling fans for at least the last 10 years. Everything's 20-minute wrestling matches, the great workers for at least. Okay, bro. Well, what that didn't do, bro, was that didn't increase your television views, your eyeballs, the people watching the product. Now, again, guys, you got to separate that from business. We're talking about two different things here. Okay, two completely different things. So now, Chris, you've been doing this certain style for 10 years. You let the marks into the post press conference and this, that, and the other thing. And now we're going to flip the switch and go back to entertainment? Bro, do they not understand it's only you've got marks going to these shows. They're going to boo this stuff out of the building because to them, this is not wrestling to them. This is not this is why I got criticized for so long and still get criticized to this day, bro, because I was writing a television show to draw the masses and the marks didn't like it. This is a storyline, bro, to draw non-wrestling fans, Chris. Absolutely. And how do you think the cult is going to feel about that?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it goes back to tribalism. And that's what the origin of this is. Have a tribalistic culture that will say, man, there's no way that anyone else from the outside can be a part of this because this is a moment where I'm already feeling, like I'm a part of the group. I'm a part of the group. If someone from the outside comes in, we're going to be, oh no, you don't know anything about this. And so, and sometimes, a lot of times what people do when they're tribalistic, they'll jump ahead of the cool new concept and they'll crap on it just for the sake of people not coming in. And so, and staying with their little bubble and creating something organic themselves,
They'll kill something before it even gets a chance to start.
Yeah,
exactly. That's a great point, Chris. But interesting, bro. We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, indeed. We have Robert Rose, $5. Austin and Hogan debate is borderline disrespectful. Austin, I called back to this debate from last week. Hogan won the title at 84 up until 2002. Only years he hasn't held a world title was 1992 and 2001. So, okay, more of the.
Well, bro, you and I were not on the disrespectful side.
No. We were definitely not on that side. We got Star Tracker Tracks, $5. Was an awesome re-debut of Uncle Howdy will be feuded with Carlito and LP in 2 weeks. Yes.
Can you imagine, bro? Like seriously.
So does the beginning of the end of with this, and I can see this happening next week or the week after. It just seems as if because it was so buzzing. Either it's going to lead in next week or it's going to be at the end. And please do not give me some type of stupid promo of Uncle Howdy speaks and that be like the cliffhanger to the end. If it's just a simple entrance leading into a promo of Uncle Howdy speaking in the ring, it just seems like that's a notch down even more, man. Like, what happens to you? Like, how do you feel if WWE, like, if you're the production team, if you're the production meeting, like tomorrow or the next week getting ready for Raw, and someone pitches an idea of, I just think we should just have Uncle Howdy speak, cut a promo, and then all the misfits just kind of be around him grunting or whatever. I think that's my pitch. What would you say to that pitch?
I would say, if you're going to do anything like that, without a shadow of a doubt, 1,000,000,000%, it needs to be in a controlled environment. That means you cannot put them in a live ring. You cannot take that chance. anything you're going to do, Uncle Howdy speaking, anything like that, bro, it's got to all be done through videotape. It's got to be all vignettes.
I love
it. Bro, I'm telling you, you put them in a ring. Bro, I'm going right back to the Bride family knew how to wrestle the first week they got into the ring with no explanation. Here's another thing, bro. They've already dropped the ball on. Every time I saw on Raw or SmackDown, like the interference and the this, the that, and the other thing, bro, the announcers never sold it.
Yeah.
They said nothing. That tells me they don't have a clue of how to handle this, bro.
Yeah.
They don't have a clue of how to handle this.
Toward the end, they start making some gestures.
Well, they didn't tonight.
Well, they said it's tonight. I think Michael Cole said something.
Oh, did he? Okay, because I saw it a couple of times and it went right over them. And
yeah, first for a while they were doing that, and then eventually they were like, "Yeah, there's that again." So they'll make the little short moments. But I like what you said as far as just making it into a controlled environment, because I was thinking about is going back to the tribalism of the inmates running the asylum in many ways. Because as soon as he gets a mic, I can hear a Bray, or a Uncle Howdy, with claps. All of that would take so much away from the aura of the faction if the fans already want to jump in and put themselves over. And that's what we don't need when it comes to making this the perception of this bigger than the possible issues that's already coming with this. We want to make this perception as big as possible and be away from live audience to hijack it as much as we possibly can. So we have McDowell's Human Resources Department. Money in the Bank is the king of the ring with briefcases. Cheers, brother, and no yeet.
You're absolutely right. No yeet was my hold on. Let me line up. There's gonna be a lot of no yeets tonight.
Yes,
no yeet, no yeet, no yeet.
Yes.
No yeet. We got AJ2 homie. $5. Interesting show tonight. I love the show, by the way. Keep up the good work. I do think Drew might be involved in the Uncle Howdy thing. No. Please don't put him anywhere near. Yes, that's another no. very, very much so. Yes. We got West Hill $5. We got two storylines tonight. What a treat for us viewers. Drew quit and Uncle Howdy. Who would have thought?
Yeah, good point. Well, I'll give that to them. I mean, I will definitely give that to them. I mean, I don't know too much about that West, because to be honest with you, I mean, come on, we know Drew didn't really quit. Yeah. So I don't really know how much of a storyline that is. The Uncle Howdy thing, yeah, bro, that's okay. You started this, guys. Let's see what you do with it. That's fine. But I don't think there's anybody believing Drew's quitting, especially with Adam Pearce going to talk to him.
Over Triple H.
Over Triple H. Yeah, over Triple H.
We got Zubair $5. That Uncle Howdy ending looked like a cheap, corny, bad horror film. Without Wyatt, it's bound to fail. I'm sorry, only smarks I see love this. Delusional. Again, it goes back to fans want to. They're going to find ways to enjoy this, because we talked about this before. When it comes to many pro wrestling fans, you can't tell them that the crap stinks. You know what I mean? You just can't say it. I mean, they'll try to find any way in the world to justify why the crap don't stink. You know what I mean? And I think it doesn't matter what you feed them, they'll eat it. They won't push anything out. And it goes back to us being, fans of the sport, just sport fans. If it's trash, it's trash. Or if it's potentially trash, it's trash. Don't be so gullible and vulnerable to the moment that you don't look at the openness to the moment. I'm okay with. Like I said, I'm open to it. But at the same time, I think the more fans are critical toward things like this, the more it's going to cause the WWE to step up and produce things that satisfy their audience. Otherwise, they don't care. They're going to push it. They know the fans are going to eat it alive, chomp at the bits for this stuff, and they're not going to think about the longevity of it.
Hold on, Chris. Where's my conspiracy thing?
Oh, here we go.
Hold on, Chris.
Give it to me.
All right, Chris, I am telling you as a writer and a producer, unless you go to the extremes, there's no way to pull this off. I'm telling you that. There's no, hold on. With that being said, could the WWE be purposely doing this? Because when it doesn't work in 3 or 4 weeks, guys, times have changed. They don't want it. They don't want entertainment anymore. I'm telling you, Chris. I'm telling you. Does this shut the critics up? We tried it and nobody wanted it. They want wrestling. Times have changed. Because
Well, I think,
Chris, I'm just telling you, I'm a writer.
Yeah.
I don't know how you possibly pull this off.
Well, Vince, we've seen that for a long time with the WWE. There's no payoffs. They don't think about payoffs. There wasn't a payoff with finishing the story. Look what's happened in finishing the story the past 2.5 months. He has gone down significantly in stock value, just being handed matches at random pay-per-views that mean nothing. And so now there's a face-off with Solo Sikoa, who's getting beat up by Randy Orton. So that's going to depreciate, your stock even more. So there's no payoffs with these things, Vince. And so I don't think that they've found out or looked at a payoff, because I think about payoffs. You know this. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking in my head, what in the heck is the payoff for this moment here? How far do you stretch it? And at the end of this thing, whatever that is, does the payoff match the build? And if it doesn't match the build, I call it. Look, I'm a psychology doctor. We come up with effects all the time. I'm going to start calling this stuff the retribution effect, because that's what happened with Retribution. And it was a payoff. It was a build. They start vandalizing stuff. They start having people wear masks, and the payoff fell flat. And let's not make this a victim of the retribution effect by having a flat payoff again.
Raw Underground.
That's another one. Exactly. That's another one.
The Bloodline.
Yeah, it's fell flat. And that's why it goes back to me. The examples that you just said and the data that we've already seen. Like, I can only go by the data that we have in our hands from the past 10 years of booking. If you can't promise me that this is going to be something different, if the data set that's in my hands right now from what I've seen over the past 10 years is completely contradictory to what you're saying.
You want Andre Hogan WrestleMania 3. Yep. That's what you want. You want Hogan Warrior WrestleMania 6.
Yep.
That's what I get it, Chris. I'm with you. And that's the way I still believe. That's the way I still write and I still book. And I don't know, Chris. We've just seen a history of, and bro, here's something very interesting. We've seen an interesting of, whatever you put on, they'll write, they'll watch. But very interesting, Chris. What did they promote during the show? Oh, SmackDown in Chicago not sold out. Next Monday night not sold out. Okay, well, what is that telling you there? Again, guys, this isn't streaming deals and Saudi Arabia. That's not what we're talking about here, bro. That's not what we're talking about here. And they're trying to sell tickets to Friday's SmackDown.
Yep, and there were consecutive WWE events that were sold out during the time that The Rock was there, because they were able to hit The Rock as a character was built so strongly that his name alone was causing people to come in arenas again. Now you don't have stronger, larger than life characters enough for people to just come, just for the heck of it. And I think at the end of the day, again, it goes back to it. If the payoff doesn't match the build, this even further tarnishes the legacy of Bray Wyatt.
It does. It really does. I agree with that, and that's a shame. That is a shame. I agree with that, Chris, 1,000%. Chris, listen, I'm just hoping, bro. We know Endeavor, we know Ari, we know Rock, bro. They got connections out the yin yang. They know the right people. If this is gonna be a horror film, they know the right people. Are those right people going to be brought in-house to produce this thing?
Yeah. Over or under? Let's do it over or under with the SK Nation too. Over or under? 1 month. So we're looking at mid-July. Over or under 1 month, at least one person from the faction would be in a match on Raw.
I say over.
Over? Okay.
Because Chris, I'm telling you, what we saw tonight, they got 4 weeks of that. They got 4 weeks of that alone. So yeah, I'd say here's what my prediction will be. By SummerSlam, this will be dead in the water.
Ooh, okay. That's bold. Okay. Yeah. I think their first match will be at SummerSlam. I think and that's 6 weeks away. So I do think that's where we're heading. That's where we're heading. But who? Against who though? Like, who is there, Vince, that would make me interested in this whole buildup in a match? Like, how do you translate this to a match? I don't care how big the pay-per-view is. How do you translate this into a match?
That's what I'm saying, bro. I don't have the answer to that.
I want it to work, Vince. That's my I want this to work. I want it to work. I think that this has the ability to really shift a lot of things when it comes to the episodic drama entertainment feel. I think it has an ability to do that, the potential at least. But if you're translating this somehow into matches, it's not going to work, man. It's just not going to work.
I mean, bro, we Chris, it's like, bro, we can go back to the Vikings. Okay, like, bro, the whole idea was these guys actually lived the Viking lifestyle, and they had no idea what to do with them. Living the Viking lifestyle, bro, they should have freaking lived outdoors, lived on the earth, and they should have won. You know, if you're going to put titles on them, whatever, bro, you want there to be a match for the titles, they got to go to them. You got to climb the mountain. You got to. That's how this stuff has to work, because the problem is, Chris, once you put it in a wrestling ring, it's wrestling and it's dead, bro. It is dead.
Indeed it is. Let's see. We have Zubar saying currently was under the weather, in which I felt terrible. Now I feel worse thanks to the show. I hate qualifiers. Uncle Howdy would be a laughing stock. Uncle Howdy is what? I mean, is he going to be a future world champion in this event?
Bro, you know the thing is, like, bro, I was the guy who wrote all the Undertaker and Kane stuff, bro, and the fire and Paul Bearer banged Undertaker's mom and all that. But, bro, you're talking about single characters.
Yep.
These are the Undertaker was a single character with a manager. Kane was a single character. This is a flock of characters. It ain't one guy, bro.
Yeah. I'm going to be critical because I want it to work. So that's where I'm at. Every single week I see this, I'm going to be critical because I want it to work.
And I want it to work for Sam Shaw because I feel he is one of the most talented, maybe just behind Bray. This was a guy that got it. And again, the Dexter Lumis. Bro, if you didn't know what to do with Dexter Lumis, remember he was Johnny Gargano's buddy?
Yes.
If you don't know what to do with Dexter Loomis, what are you going to do with 5 Dexter Loomises?
Yeah. Yeah. Including one of them in the group. Sam Shaw's in this group. So if you couldn't make him work as Dexter Loomis, which was basically it was just money waiting to be put in the bank, and you blew it. I mean, so I don't see how it's going to work now, man. We have $10 Star Tracker Tracks. Howdy's debut totally overshadowed everything else. Next week we'll open with the boring match, and they will ignore the whole thing until the last 2 minutes.
I think that's exactly what they're going to do, Star Tracker. I'm telling you, they're going to be on the end of the show for at least a month.
Yeah. We have Zoo Bear, $20. That ending was probably worse than the ending to Halloween 5, which they totally ripped off too, and it's more corny. Plus, logic with McIntyre quit should lead to months away till a good reason to return, but nope, he would be rushed. I think that's a fair point too. I do think there might be a rush here. I think it's odd, man. I mean, what happened? CM Punk is supposed to be on SmackDown. So what the heck happened to the draft at that point? I know they're in Chicago on SmackDown, but is it like some, addendum to the draft contracts? Just if you're in your hometown, you get to go and just, forbid the draft. And then are you going to have Drew do the I quit thing just to come over to SmackDown?
Chris, I'm just wondering now, because you got me thinking. When Uncle Howdy is the world champion, is he gonna have a song they sing along to?
Whatever song comes that they're going to come
out.
Bro,
you know what? I was so trained, bro. I was so trained that when you write a wrestling show, you got to get into action quick. You got to engage people in your show quick. Bro, do you know we were 12 minutes into the show before Seth Rollins said anything?
Really?
12 minutes into the show.
He's been gone 2.5 months, man. It didn't even feel big.
It didn't feel big. They didn't say anything. I wrote down that the sing. I don't care what anybody says, bro. The singing is terrible television. Yeah. Priest came out, boring, too long. You gotta open up this show hot, bro. You gotta open it up hot, man.
Yeah. And speaking of opening shows hot, do we have more dead people in backstage next week too, opening the show?
Bro, somebody's got to explain the dead people. There was dead people, I saw dead people in blood.
Yeah, in Gorilla. So, but you know who the person was? You know the sole person who was alive during that whole time?
Who?
The cameraman, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, maybe they can just say next week, and maybe they can get out from underneath all of this. Maybe they could say next week Vince McMahon was murdered in the massacre. Maybe they could say Vince was visiting. Maybe they could say Vince was visiting backstage, had no idea that these people were going to show up. Why not? Right, bro?
Man, they do not want to touch his
name. They don't want to touch
the
Vince was murdered in the
98.5-foot pole, man. No way.
Was Triple H murdered in the massacre? He was back there.
He was back there. That's a good point. He was back in Gorilla, man. How about Pierce? Well, Pierce went to go chase Drew.
Yeah, he's in a parking lot talking Drew off the cliff. Yeah,
he was in Gorilla, man. Did he somehow get out of? Is Triple H behind all this? If he survived, everybody died in Gorilla except for Triple H. Is there something going on here that Triple H wants to hijack WWE because of some?
Oh, the Whoop Whoop's alive. That's what I want.
That's not exactly
after the huge win. Can you imagine if they got murdered after this huge
Come
win?
on, man.
They finally win a match after 8 months and they dead.
And then they're dead. I mean, come on, man.
God.
You can't. At least they die with the win, man. I mean, finally they died with the win. They can go. They can leave this earth happy. We have Lawrence Laza Johnson, $10. I've been watching WWF King of the Ring 1998. I love how well it's put together with the direction of stories. I would love to see stories like the Uncle Howdy character crafted as well.
I would too, guys. I would too. I might even become a fan of wrestling again, but I don't know how they're going to do this.
Yeah. We got Anthony Giuliano. Uncle Howdy's going to feud with Jay. Going to feud with Jay. So give me a yeet on that one.
Yeah, let me give my no yeet. Hold on, no yeet.
No yeet.
No yeet.
No yeet. No yeet.
I don't want to see that either, man. I don't want. I just don't want to see this lead to a match. It will.
You don't want to see Uncle Howdy Sheamus.
Unless it's for Uncle Howdy's World Championship. That's the only way. we got Ty Salters, $2. Maybe they can bring back cinematic matches.
Yeah, that'd be great, bro. But it can't just be cinematic matches. It's got to be cinematic everything, Chris.
Yeah, it has to,
not
man.
just matches, everything.
Exactly. See, that's where I'm at. Just give me everything cinematic, and then we can talk. 6 hybrid, $2. Trash. Bugs Bunny and a pig. Down since Rock left. Yeah, exactly.
Bugs Bunny and a pig. Very nice. You popped me 6 hybrid.
Give me a yeet. Give me a yeet. Yeah, very nice. Zubair, $2. Rollins does not miss at all. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel different with him,
bro. Yeah. They're not doing Damian Priest any justice whatsoever.
No,
nothing, man.
I think, and I will say this, and I tweeted this during the show. I will say this. I do like the fact that I think Seth should beat Priest. Priest is just being horribly booked. The thing is, it's already downhill so much that you can't really start pushing.
Wait a minute. I'm pushing back.
Hold on, let me finish real quick.
Go ahead.
So I do think that Seth versus Gunther, and I'll say this just for that big fight feel. If you're trying to promote a SummerSlam match, I would much rather see Seth versus Gunther for the sake of Gunther beating a true babyface than Priest versus Gunther, because it will feel much more flat for Gunther to have his first title win against someone who already is being booked mid and who's not a true babyface. You can't get the heat if you're beating Priest, who's not a true babyface. So I would much rather see Gunther versus Seth than Gunther versus Priest.
No yeet.
What did you first say about what's the first thing you said there about Damian Priest?
He's being booked horribly. He's mid.
I disagree with that. Damian Priest.
You think Priest is not being booked horribly?
Bro, he delivered the line of the night.
What's the line of the night?
You must have been putting the kids to bed, bro. Priest delivered the line of the night because I wrote it down.
What'd he say?
Priest said to Dominic, and it may be on this board next week. It may live in infamy forever, like yeet, no yeet. Priest said to Dominic, grab your stuff and go to the clubhouse, bro.
I didn't see that. I didn't even hear that.
Grab your stuff and go to the clubhouse.
I didn't even hear that. Man, Vince, Damian Priest is so mid, man. He's just. I mean,
the guy looks like a. Look at this.
He does. He's money.
He looks like a god. He looks like a freaking god.
He on paper, Damian Priest is money, man. But the way he's been booked, I mean, if you think about it, Vince, with the exception of the Bad Bunny stuff, which caused him to have a lot of buzz around that time, he has been booked lousy his entire time post Bad Bunny stuff. Like, even when he was a babyface, when he was U.S. champ, he was booked flat, having feuds with the Miz, who lost a bunch of time, who won like 1 out of every 100 matches at the time. He was being booked mid then. Priest, Priest beat him for the U.S. title. Finn beat him for the U.S. title. He turned on him, and then he went with Judgment Day. It's been flat ever since. He has been booked
I
horribly.
agree, bro.
And that's the
I
reason
agree.
why, for the sake of Gunther, which has been, with the exception of losing to Sami Zayn, I think that he's been one of the most protected names on the roster. And a win versus Priest does not help Gunther's stock whatsoever. At least Seth Rollins has a strong enough resume that if Gunther beats Seth, it feels bigger than when if Gunther beats Priest. And for a first ever world title reign, you got to make it look big, man. And beating Priest doesn't make it look big at all. It makes him look, oh, okay, well, I was supposed to beat him because he's mid. He feels mid. So give me a yeet on that one, man. I think
I agree. I agree with everything you said, Chris.
Let's see. We have Swayze, $2. I will have chills when the tribal chief returns. Is it cold outside? Very nice, very nice.
Guys, I don't like. I watched, SmackDown, and I saw, Orton beat up all three guys, bro. They're dressing those guys the same.
Yep.
They look like two generic mid-sized Samoans. That's what they look like, bro.
They look like a great value version of Roman Reigns and the Usos. I mean, that's basically what they're being booked as. I mean,
that's a great point.
And there's no distinction there. Like if the payoff is Roman to come back, there's a clash in the bloodline. It's supposed to be Roman maybe returning, the Usos returning together against Solo, and then Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. You've already done a horrible job not making them look like killers and making them absolutely unstoppable to make it seem like they're on the level of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is one of the most protected names that you've booked in the past 5 years. And Solo Sikoa is one of the least protected names, but somehow they're supposed to be on the same level. Yeah. You got to make that make sense to me, man, and it doesn't. I think.
And like you said it perfectly there again, Chris. When you look at Sequoia and the two Tongas, they look like a knockoff version of Roman Reigns and the Usos. I mean, that's 1,000% correct.
Yeah, and they're doing nothing to distinguish.
The only way that works, bro, is if like Tama Tonga and Tama if they look like Afra and Sika.
Yeah,
that's the only way that works. Not that they look like a cheap knockoff version.
Yeah, indeed, I agree.
And bro, not only that, I mean, my God, these guys don't have a tenth of the personality the Usos have.
No. Even with Heyman, and Heyman's doing his, darndest to try to make them look, protected. But I guess what? This is going to lead to Cody versus Solo at Money in the Bank. And guess who's going to win? Cody's going to win. You know what I mean? So do we somehow get Cody versus Solo and then Cody wins and that leads to Roman Reigns coming back at Money in the Bank and helping out Solo and it not being a Roman versus Solo thing? Would that be better than somehow they're trying to make Solo on the level of Roman Reigns?
I don't know, bro.
And then you do Cody versus Roman rematch at SummerSlam, perhaps.
I mean, because think about it, bro. Like the thing to probably this goes back to what you just said about Gunther and the heel and Seth and all that stuff, bro. The thing to do is bring Roman Reigns back a baby face, but they're not strong heels.
Yeah, right.
That's the problem, bro. They're not. Randy Orton just beat the three of them up. So how are they going to get heat on Roman Reigns?
And what are we supposed? How are we supposed to think that this is believable when you're trying to be a version of something that's much better than what you're presenting right now? You're trying to be a better version of the Bloodline, and the first version completely beat you out the water right now. So, and they could have. I mean, when Solo beat up Jimmy, and it shocked Paul Heyman, you could have had something there as far as trying to kind of make good on Solo, because Before then, he lost 30 straight matches in a 5-month span. So they had a lot of work to do with Solo. So the last thing he can do is having back and forths with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens and stuff like that. That's the last thing that he can afford to do right now. We have Lawrence back with $5. Vince, if you were to incorporate Denise into writing a program with her Yeet No Yeet slogan, how would you go about it?
Wow, if I was to incorporate her, but bro, I don't even, Chris, I'm still trying to figure out, like, I don't understand these people on social media. I'm not going to mention any names.
Yeet.
I don't understand. Help me with this from a psychological point of view.
Yeet.
I don't understand these people on social media that are tweeting out every single thing they do. I had a cupcake for breakfast. After I had my cupcake, I sat on the toilet and I took a crap. After I took a crap, I then went to the library. Can you, Chris, help me out here? I swear to God, and I'm not pointing anybody out. Do they think people care?
They want them to care. So it's not about what they think they do. They want them to do, because social media has created such an unhealthy source of dopamine. So you have like an immediate, it's like a drug. I mean, social media in many ways has become like a drug.
It's attention. So you want
that attention.
It's attention. You're craving that attention.
Yeah, you want that attention. It's attention-seeking behavior. You're craving the immediate dopamine kick that comes with getting attention in that way. So if you're posting everything about your life and then you're getting people to react to it in any way, a group of people, it's attention-seeking fulfilled. It's an immediate dopamine kick that comes with that.
Chris,
social media does that all the time.
Chris, you know what I'm finding that's unbelievable to me? Chris, I'm like you. Okay, bro, I want peace in my life. Like, that's all I want, bro. I seek peace in my life. Bro, I literally am having brand members cut promos on me because, like, I think that WCW show is on Tuesdays. I think it's Tuesday. Bro, yeah. I think tomorrow is the Vince Russo episode.
Yep.
Bro, I have no interest whatsoever in watching that. Zero, none. And I'm not going to watch it. Bro, like, people like just can't believe that I'm not going to watch it and I'm not going to do a YouTube Q&A. And I don't understand that. Like, bro, this is something from 25 years ago that I lived through. Nothing more can be said about it that wasn't said already. But yet people are getting pissed off at me that I'm not going to watch it and I'm not going to do a whole 3-hour show. I don't understand that, Chris.
They want tea, they want juice, they want all of that in a bag of chips, man. So you having a Q&A, you stating your case and stuff like that, it's just basically, how nowadays a big thing as far as like comments are concerned, people will put in like popcorn gifs, like I'm here, for the comments.
Yeah.
Popcorn. That's basically the backdrop of 2024 America. Like, they're here for the comments in many aspects. They just want to see the controversy. They want to see again. I gave you the concept. I gave you the term is called Schadenfreude. It's a German a term that means harm joy, and so people find joy in the damage or harm of others. And so because Vince Russo is so portrayed as this, devil in many ways. They're looking for the devil to speak. They're looking for the aftermath that comes with that. So they're here for the comments. They have their popcorn with bated breath, waiting for you to say what you have to say. And mostly, that's just going to be more material for this weird, just type of epidemic that's going on as far as how bad Vince Russo is. They're just looking for more fodder, to carry on for new material of how bad Vince Russo
God,
is.
life, Chris. I'm people listening to this show on Sports Keto, bro. Life is just way too short, bro, to be just obsessed and for that kind of stuff, bro. Like, what a massive waste of your time, man. It's just, I don't get it.
Yep, man. People look for that, and a lot of people. That's why I think therapy is important, man. A lot of people just are just not happy with themselves. I mean, that's what it boils down to, and so they're looking for moments of banding together of this misfit people that just don't like themselves or feel a lot of. They have a very low self-satisfaction level that they see other people that feels low about themselves too. They band together. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of the pro wrestling communities like that, man. Look at comment sections. I mean, you can go to any YouTube page and look at any comment sections and see how people's miserable lives are manifested in comment sessions every week, all through social media. So let's see here. We have Rollins $5. I used to do 10. Now I'm doing $10 after class of Rollins always gives. WWE will look at Cody's championship run as a success as long as his merch sales are up at Clash of the Castle. Cody's merch made the most revenue.
You're right, Roland. You're right. I mean, bro, the comments by the Sports Kid Nation are dead on. You're right. Yeah. I mean, you're right, bro. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and that's what Triple H is looking for. I've said this before. That's the type of spin that he's always going to put on when it comes to these pressers, these press conferences. Record-breaking sales, record-breaking merch, record-breaking numbers, and all that jazz. So the more that exists, the less that the concentration on riveting television is going to exist.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We got Anthony Giuliano, $5. Jey Uso took Bray Wyatt Fireflies, and now Uncle Howdy getting it back. Winner gets the Fireflies.
I like that. I like that. Not bad. Not bad.
We get the $5 Rollin, the Clash of the Castle. Cody's merch was the top seller, but number 2 was CM Punk's Scotland 316 shirt, which again points to Steve Austin being the coder. so clearly this is the running topic.
Well, hold on a second, Chris, because Roland started this last week. He sat on this comment all week long, bro, and could not wait to push the button.
He was waiting. He was waiting for that. For sure. Lawrence, $5. I definitely agree. Social media can encourage attention-seeking behavior. Sometimes I can get carried away on it being an attention seeker. Yeah, I mean, it's that dopamine kick, man. That's the reason why dopamine is really good for you. It's a neurotransmitter that's deals with motivation, pleasure, excitement, joy, things like that. But there's studies show, there's a Harvard medicine study to show that when dopamine and that immediate gratification is sought after, that's when we get into addictive behavior. And so the dopamine desires increase by 10 times once you're looking for that immediate gratification. And attention seeking is one of those immediate gratification things that really gets that immediate dopamine kick, and it becomes like a drug, man. You always want to seek attention. That's the reason why social media, although I think that there's some really good things about social media as far as just connecting with people, and I think that social media in many ways is good, but there's many ways that it's just absolutely damaging to one's mental health.
I agree. I mean, it's great for business. It's great for promotion. It's great for advertising. It's great. I agree with all that, but the other side of it is,
it's very damaging to someone's cognitive functioning, because delayed gratification is a really, really good way of having better decision making skills, better judgment, better emotional regulation. But a lot of times we're put with all this microwave, thinking, all this immediate gratification, that we don't have an opportunity to even flex and work on that muscle of delayed gratification. So, and attention-seeking behavior, man, it falls right into really damaging the minds of of society through social media. We get West Hill $5. Why did I see Gable with the bullet in his head in Raw? Click on the X and see Jay back stage giving his reaction. Way to protect your story, WWE. Oh wow! So WWE aired Jay giving his reaction to it on Twitter.
Maybe it was his reaction to winning the match.
Okay, hopefully, because that really wouldn't be protecting the storyline. We got Anthony Giuliano $5. I watched this show because I'm a big fan of Vince Russo. I'm here for a good laugh. I like Vince's personality and opinion and intake of Raw. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. All right, man. You want to do a quick run through of the card?
It's going to be quick, Chris.
Yes, indeed.
Let's see. We got, like I said, guys, Seth Rollins, 12 minutes before he said anything. Terrible television. Boring, way too long. Another in-ring where nothing ever happens. Then we got Pierce is in the back with the Alpha Academy. We got Fire and Ice. How Cargill and Bianca Belair are not tag champs, but Fire and Ice are. We didn't even get into that. We didn't even get into that, bro.
Yeah.
Then we got Gable and Strowman. We get Strowman over, and we do the Alpha Academy about week 6 in the ring. But this time, Otis shoves Gable on his backside.
Okay.
So
I do think that was one of the better parts, because at least they're not giving us everything, and at least they're stretching this out in a good way as far as the fan reaction. So I'm open to what that leads to.
Yeah. Then we do this McAfee detective work about Baylor taking the hotel key, which I'm like, am I really watching this? Like, this is so freaking juvenile and stupid. And like you said, Chris, so where is it going? So Finn Balor went to Liv's room and banged her? Like,
what's the payoff? Right. Exactly.
I don't understand. What's the point of this?
I don't get it, man. Okay, so Finn's the one behind all this. So, right. I mean,
I think Finn may be Uncle Howdy.
So now
all right, then we got oh my God, bro. I don't understand this one either. We got Selena Vega, Sky Lolo, and somebody James.
Kiana James, that was the
one. James, bro, this girl has literally been on the show for 2 weeks and she did the job.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Yeah, she got the hat. Remember?
Oh, this is one of them that got the hat.
The hat, no hug, because I thought it was hat, no hug, but it was the hat, no hug, though.
So,
yeah, the same person that came with the bag first.
So, hat, no hug job.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yes, all right. We got. Oh my God, bro! Don't put Sami Zayn in the ring with Braun Breaker, bro. Like seriously, guys. Like, don't. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? So everybody at home could see how much Braun Breaker could kill this guy?
Yes. Yeah.
Bro, I'm sorry. My biggest pet peeve with Sami Zayn is, and I said it a lot, bro, you look like a slob. You look like, I don't know. You put your hair under the shower and then I don't know what I saw him on NXT, Chris, when he was shortcut with that Irish cap and the nice groomed beard. I like that guy. My biggest problem with this guy is every time I see him, he looks like a slob. That's my biggest problem, if you want to know the truth.
What do you think? Why do you think he's trying to portray that look? What is he
I
trying
don't know. He looks like a slob. Look at Braun Breaker next to him. He looks like a slob, bro. I don't know.
If we had a focus group of looking at those two people in the ring and say which one should be the champion, which one looks more like the champion, it would be overwhelmingly in the favor of Braun Breaker.
I don't. And bro, like I said, the young NXT Sami Zayn when Kevin Owens first came in, I watched all that. He looked good.
Yeah, he did,
bro. Then we got a big fire and ice package. And then Shayna Baszler. Bro, I got it, bro. I swear to God, I got to be so careful. Bro, I'm working with D'Lo again.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time with D'Lo this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to catch up with D'Lo. So D'Lo, well, I still train wrestlers, this, that, and the other thing. Oh, yeah, who'd you train, D'Lo? Oh, Zoe Starks was one of my students. Bro, I did the Vince McMahon. I did the... Bro, I was like, I hope to God he never listened to one of my shows. Bro. Yeah, bro. D'Lo trained Zoe Stark, man.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, she's solid in the ring. So, I mean, he probably didn't train her personality wise.
No,
I mean,
he said he trained solo for about a year too.
Oh, really? I mean, both of them are solid in-ring competitors.
Yeah.
That I don't ever take away from the in-ring work. Zoe Stark as a character is just super flat to me.
Yeah. Then what? Big win, bro. Big win. No, we don't have those yet. No, we got Lee and Carlito. Dragon Lee against Carlito. Liv comes out again, and Selena Vega, and bro, that's what I'm saying. Nobody cares about Tiger Lee and Carlito. Nobody. There's not one person that cares about that. I'm watching the show. I'm like, nobody cares about this. Yeah. Nobody cares about that. Yeah. Bro, then what about the way what about the way Crash at the Castle or whatever? Does the female referee always carry around a spare shirt with her?
Yeah.
She just walks around with an extra shirt in case somebody wants one.
Yeah.
I found that fascinating. Then we had Otis say the Alpha Academy's done, bro. They walked out.
Yeah, it's done.
Now, why didn't Pierce try to stop them?
That's a good point.
Maybe Triple H tried to stop them.
I mean, they're Triple H boys, so I guess that was a Triple H thing maybe backstage. So they didn't feel like it was big enough to air that one.
Yeah. All right. We had the Drew I Quit with, and then Triple H is going to let Pierce handle it. Then we had the whoop whoops. The
big win, man. Big win.
Big win for the whoop whoops. I was off my seat, bro.
Yes.
I was whooping, bro. Huge one.
Yes.
What they did with the whoop whoops. The whoop whoops come in. They win the titles. They lose the titles the next week. We don't see them for 6 months. And they come back with the big win.
Whoop. Man. Yeah.
So I guess Damage Control is all but dead now. Remember how hot Damage Control was, bro?
Yeah.
Then we got Sheamus and Breaker, and Kaiser screwed Sheamus. The runaround spear was pretty cool.
I like the production value was really good on that.
That was very good. And it looked like he stuck him too. But, bro, you know what's so sad, bro, Chris? We talk about this every week. The dude is such a Steiner, and you're not using that name. I hear it in the voice, bro.
Yes.
I see it, bro. Scott always used to do this. Uncle Scott used to do this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
He does that all. Oh, my God. I don't get it, bro. Is that just to stick it to Scott and Rick, bro, that we're not going to use your name? Really?
Yeah, because Scott has had heat with WWE for years.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But that runaround was the coolest thing on the show. Mm-hmm. Then we got the Dom and Liv stuff where he wants the vest back. We got to take off the vest. Mm-hmm. Priest walks in and says, grab your stuff, go to the clubhouse.
Yeah. That was. Oh yeah, I did hear that part. Yeah, I did. I did hear that part. That was funny. Yeah.
I don't have any idea what they're doing with Karrion Kross and New Day. I have no how what's his face fits in with them. I have no idea.
That's the payoff. Xavier's going to turn on Kofi because Kofi. There was a couple times where Kofi like interrupted him, and he was about to say something, and then Kofi said he'll do the match, and Xavier was kind of taken aback.
Unless they were both killed at the end of the show.
That could happen.
We got the Jey Uso promo out in the lobby, and that was pretty cool. In the lobby, comes out through the people.
Yeah, I like Jey Uso, man. I like him. I like his.
He's got good energy.
I like the organic. Energy. Yeah, I like him, man.
You can't deny that, bro. He's got good energy. He oozes charisma. You can't deny that. I don't understand, bro. Why is there no DQ in a triple threat match?
I guess the logic is if that person gets DQ'd, that person is just out and just two more people left. I guess that's the logic behind that.
So we got Jay over, and then we had the lights out, and we had the show at the end.
That was it, man. Yeah, indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is rolling.
Go to WWE.com right now. There's a list of the casualties.
That would be a really interesting highlight of WWE.com right now. Yes, indeed. But it's not as much .com. They might have it like on YouTube. They're about content creation, so they might have like some type of like slow motion view of all the bodies there backstage.
Yes, so, very nice.
Let them know about the brand, my man.
Guys, I'm going to tell you something real quick because if you guys want to see how I write and why I do the things I do, and I will explain everything to you, walk you through everything. I am working for an indie promotion here in Colorado because I love Colorado, Rocky Mountain Pro. Guys, every Tuesday they drop a new episode on their YouTube channel. I wrote it and produced it, and I do a watch along on Twitch, bro. The show comes out every Tuesday night, so 9 o'clock Eastern, twitch.tv/Vince Russo Live. If you subscribe to the channel, you do a watch along with me from a writing perspective. We'll talk about character building, storylines, heat, heels, baby faces, teases, cliffhangers, all that good stuff. You'll really get an education every Tuesday night. Twitch.tv/Vince Russo Live.
Wonderful. Last minute $10 from Roland. I respect your opinions on pro wrestling because I know that Vince is a head writer and Dr. Chris is a longtime journalist. We may disagree about some things, but you guys are spot on with most wrestling topics. Yeah.
Bro, Roland, I want to ask Roland the question and see what he answers, Chris. Yeah, I'm not asking him a question so he pays for an answer.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
Roland, let me ask you a question. Do you think Steve Austin himself would say that Hulk Hogan was the greatest of all time?
That's a really good question. Yeah. Roland, you don't have to pay for that answer.
Yeah, I want to know what you – because I think Austin would. I think Austin would say that Hogan was the greatest of all time.
Yeah. And to this comment here, I mean, mad respect to you, Roland, because you're one of, if not one of our, if not the most loyal person on this show of our shows, Vince and I shows, even Vince, even me and Bill Apter shows, and the true testament of a mature human being is how they handle disagreements, and the maturity of handling the disagreements, is a really good testament to how someone oftentimes feel about themselves. A lot of times people who can't handle disagreements, if they handle disagreements like children, it's called regression. And so that's just a testament of how they handle things emotionally. They troll, they throw it out hominem attacks a lot, but I respect, the grace and your disagreement. I think it's cool. It's a part of the fun and the excitement of this sport of wrestling. We can disagree civilly.
Chris, I swear to you, I do a show with Disco every 2 weeks. We go into every show disagreeing. Mm-hmm. By the time I hear Disco out and we're at the end of the show, I'm now looking at it in a whole different way.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a beauty to that.
Yeah, I
There
agree.
really is a beauty to that, bro.
Yeah, because a lot of times people they don't spend the time seeking harmony, first of all, even in disagreements, but being open to having their mind changed. You know, and if someone's a lot of times people view disagreements of like personal attacks. It's like, well, I have an opinion, you have an opinion. Let's figure out if there's harmony in this. If not, okay. I mean, it's just opinions. No big deal.
Yeah.
Real quick, art by Britannia. What is whoop?
Oh, get with the no, I'm no yeet. I'm no yeeting you. Get with the program, man.
You gotta watch this show weekly, man. Whoop whoop is Katana. Ooh, Kaden Carter and Katana
by myself, Chris. Go.
Yeah,
go
okay.
ahead.
I was leading that. You gotta give me the big. You gotta give. Let me set up. All right, here we go. Ladies said, this is whoop whoop, ladies. Let's do it.
Whoop whoop, whoop whoop, whoop whoop.
Yes, indeed. That is whoop whoop, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. This guy right here is Vince Russo. I'm Dr. Chris. This is the Legion of Raw. Have a good night, everybody. Solo.